Now, James Cameron, the creator of the Titanic and Avatar films, Terminator, this man is meticulous when it comes to detail. So he's actually made 33 deep dives to the Titanic. He's been deep diving. He's actually dived in the trench. So this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to diving and the material that's needed to go underwater. When they were telling the story, I haven't heard James Cameron speak on this situation. So I have not been influenced by anything that he said. And me and this man had the exact same story. And I don't even know the technology or anything that he's saying. The way he broke down exactly what is common sense to anyone. If you know anything about a tracking device, just like from a plane, anything else, it runs on a separate power base. So that system is different. So if you lose electronics or electric or your comms, that tracking device will still be working and operational. Once that's gone, right along with everything else, you have to know that something went drastically wrong and that sub probably imploded. James Cameron knew right away from the first day. So all of this, they're diving, they're looking for him, and all of this stuff, and we heard banging, and it could be them. It was like, what are you doing? No, it wasn't them. Everything was consistent when they heard a bang right after they lost comms. It was reported that they lost a bang. They knew. They knew about this on Monday. He knew within 1 hour it imploded. I knew from them making statements in the media that made no sense. You got all these people diving in the water like they were going to find people. It's not going to happen. Now, they're going to investigate this technology and see who cut costs, who did something that they shouldn't have done. But the reality of this situation is clear. Once they said, I knew, like James Cameron knew, but once they said, we heard banging at the bottom of the ocean, and then they made the announcement that they found it right where the ship was supposed to be, right by the Titanic. You find some pieces from the ship, and I'm like, how did you not find that on day one? Where were you looking? Because naturally your search would be right by the Titanic. So they, sorry about that. They knew. They knew. That's all I could tell you is they knew. That's about all I could tell you. They knew.
Shouldn't have been doing what it was doing. I think that's pretty clear. I wish I had been more vocal about that, but I think I was unaware that they weren't certified because I wasn't really studying it. I wasn't really interested. Stockton Rush asked me if I wanted to go out there and dive this season. I wasn't interested. There was a lot of concern about this outfit and this sub. A lot of concern, even to the extent that I wasn't involved in it because I was making Avatar 2 at the time, but a lot of them got together and wrote a letter to Ocean Gate and said, you have to certify. You cannot take people down. It's irresponsible, and it could lead to catastrophe. Monday morning, when I first found out about the incident, got on a whole bunch of calls and emails. It's a small community. Within an hour and a half, I had the following information. They were on descent. They were at 3,500 feet. They lost comms and tracking. The last one being the critical one, because the transponder that's used to track a sub during descent and on the bottom is a fully autonomous system. It's in its own pressure housing and it has its own battery power.
I said
So
all
for
of
them
this.
to lose comms and tracking at the same time, sub was gone. There was no question in my mind. For days, I tried to run other scenarios that could account for it. I could come up with nothing. Um, so the next thing I did was contacted a few more people and managed to track down. There are acoustic networks around. Some are research, some are intelligence. Um, we got confirmation within an hour that there had been a loud bang at the same time that that comms were lost. A loud bang on the hydrophones, loss of transducer or transponder, loss of comms. I knew what happened. Sub imploded. I sent emails to everybody I know. I said, we've lost some friends. The sub has imploded. It's on the bottom in pieces right now. I sent that out Monday morning. I never believed in that technology of wound carbon fiber, wound filament, cylindrical hull. I thought it was a horrible idea. I wish I'd spoken up, but I assumed somebody was smarter than me, because I'd never experimented with that technology, but it just sounded bad on its face because we make pressure hulls out of contiguous material, steel, titanium, ceramic, acrylic. And so you can model it, you can do finite element analysis of it, and you understand the yield properties, you understand the number of cycles that it can take. Um, but you can't do that with a composite material because it's two dissimilar materials, sort of bonded together. And so we all knew that the danger was delamination and progressive failure over time with microscopic water ingress and fatigue, what they call cycling fatigue. And we knew that if the sub passed its pressure test, it wasn't going to fail on the first dive. It might fail on dive 7, or I don't know what they're at, but it's going to fail over time, which is insidious. You don't get that with steel or with titanium.